Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we are going to do another mock draft, which has been a little bit since we've done a mock draft, so figure why not do one again, see if our minds have changed on players. And it's always interesting too, because you never know what position we're going to get. We're going to randomize it here, see what draft pick we get, and that really just completely changes your draft every time. So we'll see. We're going to do a 10-team league. We're actually going to use our settings that we do for our main league we're in, our 10-team keeper league. So we'll have 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a flex, tight end, defense kicker, all that good stuff. 8 bench spots, actually a deep bench. Mm-hmm. So we'll go through that. And it's going to be random. Standard league, no PPR. Might as well click the random button. See what happens. It's going to be the 8th pick.
Bummer.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
We haven't really had an 8th pick
Yeah,
yet.
that's okay. As long as we're not trapped in the middle, I guess.
All right, so this is what we'll get going here in a second. Before we do that, make sure you check us out on Twitter at the FF Prophet and Instagram. We're Fantasy Football Prophet. You can go to the website fantasyfootballprophet.com. We'll have all kinds of stuff on all those sites for you. Might as well just get the draft going, get straight into it. No messing around. See what happens. If my computer will load. We have the 8th pick. Let's see what happened. It went David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Zeke. No surprise. Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, then LaShawn McCoy, Melvin Gordon. I was really hoping one of those running backs would fall to us there.
Yeah, no one.
Right? That's kind of what I would want. So, okay, normally I haven't liked going wide receiver. I like to go running back. Let's see what we got here. It's Freeman, Ajayi, Murray, Howard are the top ranked guys. I think I rank them as Freeman, Howard, Murray, Ajayi. You have them as Howard. Freeman, Murray, Ajayi. Wide receiver-wise, though, there's Odell out there and there's Evans. We actually both have Evans ahead of Odell.
Yeah.
So Evans would be the guy. We're the 8th pick, so there's 9, 10. Let's see, it goes 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 picks before we pick again. So we could get one of these top receivers, and then I think we'll still get one of those top 4 running backs. Or you go those running backs and you get like Odell, Evans, AJ.
No, I'm actually okay if we want to try to go with a wide receiver this time around.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and see what it's like, especially at the 8th pick.
Yep.
Coming around. So which one you
want
to go Evans? Okay.
We have Evans, both of them. We both have Evans ahead of Odell, actually.
Yep, and I like Evans.
It's not actually the consensus, but that's how we have it.
Yep.
After that, we picked Evans and went Odell, AJ Green, Jordan Howard, Michael Thomas. So the wide receivers did go.
That's interesting, though. So Jordan Howard did go
ahead of these guys who were actually
Ajayi,
officially
Freeman, Murray
ranked ahead of them.
It's who I would have had ranked there as well. But.
So Freeman is going to probably be our guy here at this point.
Yep, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, so I kind of like that. You get Mike Evans, you get Devontae Freeman to start. I'm okay with that start of that draft. I like that. So it'll be a little bit of a wait here as we wait around, see what happens.
After the turn.
Well, let's see. I wanted to see if maybe like a Rodgers would last to us. He didn't. So it went DeMarco Murray went, and then some wide receivers, Jordy, T.Y. Hilton. No surprises yet. J.J., Marshawn Lynch. Actually, Marshawn Lynch going ahead of Fournette and ahead of Gurley and ahead of Miller, who went there. Dez went in between there, too. Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Rodgers, Amari Cooper, Doug Baldwin, Devontae Adams. That's maybe a little earlier for Devontae Adams than I would have expected. If you look at the wide receiver list, it is earlier.
I was going to say, who did he jump over?
He jumped over a lot of guys. Hopkins, Thomas, Jeffrey, those kind of guys. All right, so we're sitting here. We have a running back. We have a wide receiver. We're looking good there. There's some solid wide receivers left. And we only have 4 picks between our pick again. I think I would be leaning towards one player here at the running back spot.
Actually. I'm looking. Yeah, I mean, me too. I mean, it's Crowell, right?
Yeah. I think we go Crowell here.
Yeah.
Get that second running back.
I agree. And he's going to get the bulk of the carries. He's a much safer guy than I like Hyde too, but Hyde, Mixon, McCaffrey are the 3 after him.
Yep.
And that gets a little bit where you're guessing. So you take him.
I like some of these receivers, but I think they're all about the same.
Yeah. And I do love all these guys too, but they're very, very It's just way too deep, and I think Crowell is kind of still at a level, tier of his own.
And now that Rodgers has been taken anyway, I think it's a wait on quarterback route at this point. Every time Rodgers is taken, I kind of wait. Unless you get the 5th round and like a Breeze or Brady still there.
I was going to say, with a snake draft, I find that you hit, like you said, I think that 5th round is one of those where if you don't like anyone, you can pick a guy if he's still there.
All right, we picked Crowell. Then I went Mixon, Sammy Watkins, DeAndre Hopkins, Alshon Jeffrey. So we're sitting here. We had 2 running backs already filled. Our wide receivers, we might need to get a little bit. Looking at running backs, there's still Hyde there. I like Hyde, but then there's Demaryius Thomas, Allen Robinson, Brandon Cooks, Terrell Pryor, Keenan Allen.
There's so many wide receivers I love still.
I still feel like you can wait, especially when we have a top guy. But running back wise, are we sold on these guys? Hyde? It's probably Hyde if we went running back here. He's still there. I'm not sold on him right now. I'm a little worried about some things, but he's still the guy.
Yeah. So this is the breakdown. It goes Carlos Hyde, and then the next 5 guys after him are McCaffrey, C.J. Anderson, Spencer Ware, Ty Montgomery, and then Eddie Lacy. So you can see how Hyde, even though he does have some injury concerns, is by far probably the safest, and I would argue the most talented runner, even though he's on a bad offense right now.
Is this a spot where you think about Kelsey? It's the 4th, right? We're in the 4th.
We could take a chance because there's so many wide receivers.
I still like those tight ends down the board. I feel like we don't need to do it.
Yeah, if we're gonna do it, I would only do it for Kelsey.
This is about my least favorite round in fantasy football.
Right. Or you could go for a top end QB. You could still go Tom Brady.
You still could. I'm
not either. Okay, so if you did want to go for a wide receiver, though,
I don't know.
Right, there's so many. Demaryius Thomas, we just talked about how safe he is.
He might just be a solid pick here.
Yeah, I do love Demaryius Thomas a lot.
He might be a lot more solid than we're giving him credit for. Pair him up with Evans.
Yeah, after we went over his numbers too, even last year when he had a very subpar quarterback at the time because they were young, he still put up wide receiver 2 numbers.
Well, and then we got the 2 running backs already, so Hyde is okay, but I'm thinking I'd be fine with Lacy down there.
I feel like we could grab 2 guys later that we would probably have
and Doug Martin.
Right.
It's always
Doug Martin. And on top of that, we went over Tevin Coleman. Frank Gore, Gillislee. Like, you can take a little bit of a risk now that we have 2.
I think I'm going to go Demaryius.
I like the pick. I really do.
We haven't done that.
And it's different than what we've done in the past.
I think he's a solid wide receiver too.
I love it. I think we talk about those safe players you get to buoy your team, and he is definitely that guy.
Yep. So Thomas it is. That's a guy we haven't talked a lot about, but we decided to go Thomas. After Thomas, Brandon Cooks, Dalvin Cook, Tom Brady, Christian McCaffrey, Pryor, Allen Robinson, then Carlos Hyde went. Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Martavis Bryant, Jarvis Landry. A lot of receivers going off the board. Then Ingram and Ty Montgomery. Then Michael Crabtree. So a lot of Travis Kelce's now sitting there in the back of the 5th.
Ooh.
That's where you start thinking about. Drew Brees is there in the back of the 5th.
Who else we got? Oh, so Brees, Luck.
Brees and Luck are both there
still
yet.
Sitting there.
So at this point, I feel like if we probably don't even need to go quarterback because there's only 4 picks between our pick. If we want a Brees or Luck, we might take a risk and they might be picked.
Yeah, I wouldn't be heartbroken though.
No, but
because you still have Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins. Yep. You still have a few that I still very, very much like.
Running back wise, Lacy's out there yet. We could go the Lacy route as our flex, but there's still Doug Martin.
There's still C.J. Anderson.
There's still some guys that I'm okay with. Travis Kelce's really good value in the 5th.
I agree. Who's there for wide receiver? Did
Emmanuel Sanders, Golden Tate, Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay, yep, Keenan Allen, Michael Crabtree, all those guys.
Crowder, Snead are still down there, which are good wide receiver 3s.
Yeah, and we already have 2, so I agree with you. I think this is the perfect spot to kind of snatch up Kelce.
Right?
Do you agree?
I think so. I like Kelce in the back of the 5th. I think he's going to be really, really good.
And that's really funny because in snake drafts, which, depending on if you do that or auction, the 4th, 5th, 6th round is when it gets really interesting because you'll see a lot of quarterbacks going. Tight ends are starting to become in play. You can kind of play around with those. Where I feel like the ones before, you got to go running back or you got to go a top.
And the running backs went Lacy, Anderson, Spencer Ware finally. And then Jordan Reed. So none of the wide receivers went and the quarterbacks didn't go. So this draft the quarterbacks are not going in this draft. Wide receivers are kind of going off the board. We have a long wait here if we wait on a 3rd receiver to fill out our wide receivers. We still like a lot of these quarterbacks down there. I don't know if we like Breeze enough. I think we can get Winston down there or somebody like that.
Do you have Breeze above Luck in your rankings? Okay, I do too. But when faced with this decision,
I still would go Breeze. Just based off Luck's injury. I'm still worried about that.
Yeah, the fact that he hasn't thrown yet, I guess that's
these wide receivers, like, we talked about Tate a little bit. Like, he's still good as a wide receiver.
It's so deep when you already have two.
Man.
Like, I don't need any one of these guys to perform
because you'd still be fine with Crowder or Snead down there.
Yeah, I'm going to get 3 more. And, I mean, my gosh, just to fill out your roster, you can go Moncrief, Snead, Kelvin Benjamin. Like, if you got those 3, I guarantee one of them will be performing.
But if we want a third running back here, which we might, there's Coleman, Gillislee, Gore, Abdullah, Paul Perkins, Powell, Blunt, Doug Martin. I like Doug Martin.
But I
might be able to wait.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't take him right here because I feel like that would be a waste.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could get someone like a Tevin Coleman,
and I just don't know if we need to go quarterback route here either.
I don't think we can go wrong in this position. I think we go for the player we like the most.
Who would you pick here? I don't know.
I wouldn't go wide receiver because I think I would reach too far down.
Yep. Man, this is actually a tough one.
Yeah. So for me, I actually would go either Breeze and get just that high level guaranteed quarterback, or I would go to running back, knowing that is a harder position to get. And I think I would go Tevin Coleman over the rest of the guys.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm almost thinking I do go Breeze because I feel like the talent there is just so much better than these other guys we're looking at. We're getting one of the top guys here, and the other guys we're just getting okay guys who I think you can find those guys. Those are the guys you can find on the waiver wire.
I think this is a no-risk situation.
So. I think we'll go Breeze.
Yeah, okay.
I just feel I don't know. I think we'll be okay
the only thing bad about what is happening right now is we have a lot of bye weeks that are matching up,
which I don't worry about too much early on.
It's not huge, right? Because you can make up for that. Yeah. But currently, let's just go over our team real quick to show where we're at. So, what round are we in?
We are going to be now in the 7th.
We'll be in the 7th round, and currently, right now at QB, we have Drew Brees. Wonderful. We have a top 5 guy guarantee almost. Running back, we have Devontae Freeman and Isaiah Crowell. Both incredibly solid. Mike Evans and Demaryius Thomas at wide receiver, and we have one more wide receiver to go. So that's incredibly good. And then tight end, we got Travis Kelce, who was the number 1 tight end last year. So right now our team looks very, very stacked.
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing here, if you would agree with me, is just making sure that you fill out your team, especially at running back, to make sure that you don't have any holes in it.
Well, after we picked Breeze, only 2 running backs went in that entire stretch.
Really?
Yeah. Powell went next. Then Andrew Luck, Edelman, Olsen, Adrian Peterson, Devontae Parker, Dante Moncrief, Jimmy Graham, Matt Ryan, Brandon Marshall, Golden Tate, Delaney Walker, Emmanuel Sanders, and Marcus Mariota. And so we're sitting here. We didn't pick a running back, which we like some of those guys. It's basically the same board.
That's crazy.
Basically Coleman again, which we still got Coleman sitting there.
Question. Okay, so the next, we'll just say 5 running backs. And then Doug Martin would technically be the 7th. But it goes Tevin Coleman, Mike Gillislee, Frank Gore, Amir Abdullah, and then Paul Perkins. Which one of those guys would you pick in this situation? Because even if you don't have it ranked higher, at this point we can actually take a risk and say, hey, this guy has a higher ceiling.
I'm thinking Abdullah.
You like Abdullah
I kind of do. I think there's more of a role there. More of the Coleman, he's a backup, honestly. A very good one.
I was going to say, we did just show he went 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns with missing 3 games last year.
Gillislee could be situational. I don't like Frank Gore as my 3rd running back. I like Frank Gore, but I don't want him as my 3rd running back.
He could end up being our 4th. I have no problem with Amir Abdullah right here. Because I think he does have a huge ceiling. He's the number 1 running back.
Yeah, we only have 4 picks to go before our next one. We're going to get one of these other receivers. We're going to be able to get a Snead or Crowder or Fitzgerald if we want. I believe.
Okay, let's be honest of who we're taking in that position.
It's going to be Snead,
it'll be
but
Snead.
I'm hoping it's Snead. I think we can wait and get Snead.
I agree. So you want to go Amir Abdullah and then hope Snead is still there and we'll take him?
Or we go Snead and get Abdullah. What's more likely? I feel like Abdullah.
I think Abdullah. Okay, I think we take Abdullah now. Okay. And then, because if Abdullah did go, heaven forbid, that means Tevin Coleman definitely went, Amir Abdullah did, and then now we're going for Doug Martin.
Yep. Let's see what happened when we made the pick. It went Fitzgerald, Russell Wilson, Tyler Eifert, Cam Newton. So kind of how we wanted.
Yep.
Willie Snead's still sitting there. Willie Snead's our pick, right?
Yep,
He's
Willie
our
Snead.
third receiver. And I think we made a joke when we talked about doing a mock draft that we'd end up with Willie Snead on our team.
Every single time.
We end up with
so
Willie
far.
Snead on our team. I'm picking him ahead of Crowder and Diggs. I'm going to every time right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
That's
Willie
the crazy
Snead.
part, too, is I would take Crowder over Diggs as well. And at that point, it's not because of talent. It's because of the team he's on.
All right.
Oh, Hunter Henry went.
Let's see. After Snead, let's see. Where are we? Okay. Rudolph, Deshaun Jackson, Danny Woodhead, Kelvin Benjamin, Derek Carr, Martellus Bennett, Dak Prescott, Pierre Garcon went ahead of Jamison Crowder. Wow. And Stephon Diggs, Gillislee, Gore, Hunter Henry, John Brown.
John Brown,
you're my guy.
Yeah, I like it. You're a breakout player, one of yours.
So Tevin Coleman to me just stands
What?
out.
Yeah, he didn't go. I love how I'm outraged at this. Like,
All right.
how dare they?
How doesn't he stand out?
Yeah, without a doubt. I love Tevin
We're
Coleman.
filling out
there.
our bench, so to me, it's Coleman and Doug Martin are my guys actually here.
I think we could get both, possibly.
We might be able to. I think it's Coleman here,
All right, and I really do. What are we in the ninth?
and we already have Freeman, so we want Coleman. This is
Oh,
beautiful.
we have the handcuff too. If Devontae Freeman goes down, we had talked about this in a previous or just
Yeah.
recent podcast. If Devontae Freeman goes down, Tevin Coleman
Yep.
is a top 10 running back, and he is the best handcuff you can possibly have because you can play him right now as the backup.
Yep.
And like I said, mentioned again, 1,000 all-purpose yards with 9 touchdowns last year, missing 3 games.
Yep.
Crazy good production.
And Coleman's a guy. I like that where we ended up with there.
And we got the handcuff for him too. It's
After
beautiful.
Coleman, it went Samaje Perine, Paul Perkins, Cameron Meredith, and Garrett Blunt. Perfect, because what I would like to do here is go get Doug Martin.
Beautiful, and we are just
That's exactly what I'd want to do. Doug Martin would end up as our 4th or 5th running back.
wow. That's really great.
Right? Isn't that's what I think that's perfect.
amazing.
It's Doug Martin there. And I think we got the guys we were thinking of rounds ago. We waited and still got them.
Yeah, it's a little bit lucky, I think, in this
Right.
particular draft. This is as good as it can go, but
After that pick of Doug Martin, it went Jamal Williams, Green Bay running back.
wow.
Somebody's really not liking Ty Montgomery. Matt Forte, Theo Riddick, Rob Kelly, Jeremy Macklin, Quincy Enunwa, CJ Prosise, Decker, James White, Derrick Henry. Then we got some defenses, of which I still don't recommend that early. Broncos and Seahawks, Adam Thielen, Corey Davis. And at this point,
Look at that, though. That was like seven out of the 11 spots were running backs, though. So it went on a huge run after we did that.
at this point, we're basically looking at talent. We have only 3 receivers, so we should probably look at a receiver.
Oh, without a doubt.
So we stacked our running backs. We're looking good. Wide receiver wise, the guys top on the board are Mike Wallace, Corey Coleman, Randall Cobb, Kenny Britt, Jordan Matthews, Rashard Matthews, Tyrell Williams, Marvin Jones. To me, I have a guy I would pick here.
Really? Yeah. Do you have someone guaranteed?
No, not at all.
This is one that I'm not sure about. No one sticks out to me necessarily. I think it depends on where you want to go. Do you want upside or do you want another safe player?
I want Randall Cobb here because
You're a big Randall Cobb guy this year.
I feel like I want the guy on that offense. If he's healthy, I think he's going to surprise people. And he's our 4th. He'd be our 4th receiver.
True.
I don't like these other guys.
Yeah, I'm not huge, but that's what I'm wondering is do you take a safe guy that you can plug in no matter what?
I don't even know if there is a safe guy.
I don't know. You don't think Rashard Matthews would be
I don't
pretty
know.
safe?
I don't know with Decker now and with Corey Davis.
All right. What about what do you think about Corey Coleman?
I have no idea what to think about Corey Coleman.
Yeah, no,
I just think Cobb has played well in the past, and he could do it again.
He could. I think he's a slightly bigger risk. No, I shouldn't say risk. I think he's I don't think he has the upside as some of these other guys do, but I'm okay with it because I think what we saw last year is probably the worst that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's still 6 touchdowns. You know, he could go low on the yardage, but I could see him 800 yards.
I'm trying to think.
Possible
I think he's the only. There's a couple guys we can get after this. We'll be able to fill in with.
Yeah, so I'm okay taking a risk there if you really like
I
Randall
think he has
Cobb.
a chance to get back up there. I really do.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. We can go
gonna pick
Randall
him.
Cobb.
After he went, let's see. It went Kenneth Dixon, Jonathan Stewart, Kenny Britt, Kirk Cousins. So if you waited on quarterback and got Kirk Cousins in the 12th,
God, I love that so much.
that's pretty good. I just don't think where we got Breeze, we liked where we got him, and I don't know. Yeah, I still like where we got Breeze.
I mean, who would we have
wouldn't
traded for him?
We wouldn't have. And I like that pick. All right, so now we're sitting here. We have basically we can just get talent at this point. Shoot, if we even wanted a backup quarterback, which I don't usually, you can get Jameis yet. Holy.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger, Stafford, Rivers.
They really waited on quarterback.
All right, what do we got?
Don't do that.
Running backs, there's Kareem Hunt. That's about what I would pick here, but we don't even need to get another running back yet. Mike Wallace, Corey Coleman, Jordan Matthews, Rashard Matthews again, Tyrell Williams, same kind of guys. Who's a guy you would pick here? This is a tough one. There's not like a player standing out.
No, it's not one of my usual guys that I see. Scroll down a little bit more. I want to see just how deep this wide receiver list goes.
You got the Zay Jones, Marquise Lee.
Yeah, it's a little deep.
You can get some guys down there.
Yeah, and they're totally fine. Like, they do have some upside.
We got a deep bench, though. We have 5 more bench spots. This is a deeper bench we're going with.
This is a good question, though. For this deep of a bench, what backups are you actually looking for? So I know you usually never a backup tight end.
Typically not.
For this, who would it have to, like, someone you really, really
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to wait a few more rounds, and then if Ertz or Ebron is still there, I might just pick them.
Okay. Because what about QB, though?
Same thing. But it'd have to be like Jameis, Stafford, Roethlisberger, like Rivers. Those 4 guys, if they last a few more rounds, I think we get them. And then I think that's when you would pick one of those guys, because then it's like too much to wait.
Mm-hmm. No, the sad part about this right here is I kind of like some of the upside for the running backs, but we just don't need them.
We don't. I'd like Kareem Hunt here. I think he has the most upside out of like any of these players we have.
too, but we just absolutely don't need him.
It'd be our sixth running back.
We're just like loaded at running back, which never happens.
You could, but the thing is, I think you go with a 6th running back if you don't really care about these receivers and don't think there's too much of a difference. I mean,
I'm okay with that. And
you know what I mean? Like,
and also this is a league you can trade in.
Yep.
So if Ware is not the guy and Kareem Hunt takes over for him, I have no problem trading him for a wide receiver, pairing him with a wide receiver, and then trading for a guy that will slip into our starting roster.
Take a chance on Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, that's okay. And say,
no, we probably don't need any more running backs.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'm trying to think of what wide receivers will go.
After Hunt, Marvin Jones, Terrence West, Duke Johnson, Latavius Murray, Kansas City D, Rashard Matthews, Stafford, Corey Coleman, Jameis, Mike Williams, Mike Wallace, Darren Sproles, Ted Ginn, Phillip Rivers went off the board. Now we should probably pick a wide receiver.
Yeah, and a couple of the guys I thought were safer went, unfortunately.
Jordan Matthews, Tyrell Williams, Brashard Perriman, Josh Doxson, Robert Woods, Kenny Stills, Tyler Lockett, Sterling Shepard, Kevin White. I actually like Kevin White.
The guy's a great athlete. There's a couple of guys down here. We're taking a complete shot in the dark. I think if there was one guy we could depend on a little bit, that'd be nice. Yeah, no.
Maybe, honestly, Robert Woods, he is going to be the main receiver with the Rams. He's the number 1, if that means anything. He's filling the Kenny Britt role. Think about it as the Kenny Britt role.
Yeah, and Kenny Britt was very playable last year.
As a, 5th wide receiver? 5th safe?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he is fifth.
Do we need a safe guy at this point?
You know what? Screw the safe. I say at this point we just go for it.
You go Perriman or go Doxson or go Kevin White.
No,
Sterling Shepard.
I'm feeling a little frisky, so let's just take a big jump. And I say let's just go with your pick, White. Okay. If we can get Zay Jones in one of the next 2 rounds.
Let's do it. Kevin White, I think he's going to have I have a feeling we might not be ranked as high in this draft. Picking some of these upside players at the end. We're not going strictly ranks here, but whatever.
Actually, if they only do our starters, though, we're going to look phenomenal.
All the quarterbacks are gone, basically, at this point. The tight ends we would have picked maybe are pretty much gone. Just Ebron. I don't really need it yet.
Well, yeah, I would still wait on that. Maybe if he's still there in a couple of rounds or whatever.
At this point, we can get another wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean,
is this where you want Zay Jones? Would you want
Zay Jones right now.
He seems like a safer guy.
Even as a rookie, I think he's safe because he's going to be the wide receiver too. And heaven forbid Sammy Watkins stays injured.
Yep,
he's the number 1, and I don't care what offense you're on. You get some sort of production.
And that's the good thing about this deep bench and this kind of board. Yeah. And actually, if you look at the names, it is based off our team. We are the Bet Intruders. So
I forgot about that. I love that. That's an old internet.
It is. It's been a while. I can't change it now. All right. 2 more bench spots left. We still got our kicker and defense. I think at this point you just I don't have a need for a tight end at this point. I don't have a need for a backup quarterback. We can get him at any time. I think we're just going for this potential. We're going for the upside players. And
how many rounds are left? What round are we in?
We have 2 more bench spots to fill.
Okay.
Yep. So we can go. We already have 6 receivers. We have 6 running backs. We just keep loading up, but that's what I do at this spot. I feel like that's a better way to go, is to load up on these guys who could break out rather than load up on a backup tight end, a backup quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you too, because at this point,
right? And I think what I would do here is it's Doxson for me. He's my guy.
So the next handful of wide receivers that are ranked, we'll just shout them out. Perriman, yep. Doxson, Robert Woods, Kenny Stills, Tyler Lockett.
Or you can go down and get Marquise Lee.
He was one of your sleepers.
He's there.
And he had a very, very quiet yet great season. Question: we only have 2 bench spots left. What are you thinking as far as positional? So wide receiver for one, and
maybe it just depends on running back wise.
I mean, we have a ton already.
So we can basically get who we think has better upside. I don't know who has it over here at the running back side. I really don't at this point.
I think we have so many at this point. I think I would rather get a backup I really like than one of these running backs, to be honest.
Right, yeah.
Because we're so deep in it, which usually never happens.
The running backs, who knows?
Yeah, because I feel like I don't have a firm grasp on one of these guys like Deion Lewis, and I mean, there's a whole lot of...
Yeah. I think I would go Doxson here.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with that. I like his upside.
Another upside guy.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Just
one more bench spot to pick here.
Yeah, and this is always my... I don't want... Not Mr. Irrelevant, but at the same time, he's the first one to get cut. So he's one of those that doesn't matter near as much.
Let's see. We have a million players right now.
And also, I'll be honest, and this one, for this always, I will take either a kicker or a defense.
Well, I was going to say, I'd go Houston D. I like the Houston defense. I think
they're great, and I think their offense is going to be better than last year, so it'll help them out.
Pick a Houston defense because there's a million guys at the bench we could pick.
Clowney and JJ.
Yep. Whew. So yeah, Houston D is the way to go there. Get a good, solid defense, and
just
pick.
Honestly, I'm gonna pick Justin Tucker. I take him number 1 kicker.
Pick Justin Tucker.
Because we don't care about that bench spot, really.
Yeah, in a league like this where you have such a deep bench, why not just you get those 2 guys ahead of it and then wait? Because basically, you're throwing a shot in the dark anyway at this point. And you know what? Running back, let's see if there's one is there one you would go with here? Do you take a chance on, you think maybe Devontae Booker's the guy? I don't know.
No, I would.
Foreman.
You know who, I was going to say who I'd pick. Deontay Foreman.
Yeah.
Just to.
Want to take that shot and throw him deep on our bench?
And who knows? Lamar Miller gets injured in the first 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you have a starter you can
I don't know if they'll like this team because A-.
They love it.
Okay.
I don't know if they actually go for bench, but our starters really are that good.
We stuck to our guns on what we liked on our team, and they gave us an A-. That's a very solid score, I believe, for that. Let's take a look at some of the stuff. They do rank us as the top team in the league. That's normally how you see that. Yeah. We've actually been number 1 on a few of these we've seen.
Yeah.
It has us as the number 1 overall, number 2 starters. Our bench is down there a little bit, which it's understandable. We went for an upside bench, which that's just how that turned out to be. Let's see here if they have anything. It says our strongest starting positions are kicker. Okay.
Well, I love that tight end and kicker. Number 1 and number 2.
Yeah,
because we have the number 2 tight end.
Yeah, overall they do like our team.
Oh, so our bench is number 7 though.
Yeah, they don't like our bench very much.
Yeah, they don't like our bench.
Let's see any of these other teams. I like looking at other teams, see how some of these other guys did. Anybody we really like? There's a David Johnson, Todd Gurley, Des Bryant team. It's okay. It's not bad. The Le'Veon Bell, Leonard Fournette, but then
actually I do like
Keenan Allen, Jamison Crowder, Allen Robinson,
Lamar Miller,
Matt Ryan, Lamar Miller,
Jameis Winston,
Devontae Parker.
Actually, I really like. I think
my kind of
they
team.
have. Yeah, they kind of have a few.
Yep.
A few question marks, but that's really.
There's
solid.
not like a big standout team for me here. Like the Carr, Zeke, Marshawn Lynch is solid with Terrell Pryor,
Martavis
but
Bryant,
they have the wide receivers. The
Gronk,
Pryor, Bryant, I would want as a 2 and a 3, not a 1 and a 2. But Gronk, it's a solid team though.
Go down. I actually do want to see their bench because if they're heavy on wide receiver where they can... No, they aren't.
Nope, and then they got the Peterson and Jamal Charles. So.
I still like that, though. You're really a waiver.
Yep.
And I do think Terrell Pryor has the upside to be a number 1. I think Martavis Bryant is the number 2 no matter what. I think he's going to be that good.
Yep. All right, well, there we go. Another mock draft in the books. solid score for that one. You know, I didn't honestly think we were going to do that well. I just thought we were picking how we wanted to pick, not worrying about what the rank would be.
That might be one of the first ones where we went wide receiver high, and we actually came out with a nice roster where the running backs weren't decimated after like round 5.
All right. Well, I think we'll have another mock draft or two before the season. They're always fun to do. See what we're thinking. You know, who we're deciding on. We'll talk to you guys next time.